Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hi. Guess what?
Hi.
We're back.
What? We are.
We're always here. We'd never leave. We can't leave you. If we left you, we'd have nothing. So we can't leave.
There's no escape.
No, it's true. There really is no escaping the BumbleKast.
Or all the questions that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
It's true. It's true. And we're getting started off with this one from Mephilis #1 fan. Could you do an audio recreation of the President Lincoln scene from the Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon with Sonic as Mega Man and Shadow as Proto Man?
So I guess clip this out and play it over the scene to your heart's content? ? You wouldn't be so tough without that helmet, little brother. You're on, Proto Man. Plasma power. Miss me again, #1 son, but I won't miss this time. He's gonna blast President Lincoln. Huh. I need you'd risk your life for Mr. Lincoln.
Mr. Lincoln. No. All right. Question from Mika. Let's say hypothetically Metal Sonic did switch to the good side. What would his life be like? Would he still have his rivalry with Sonic? How would Eggman react?
I would want him to keep the rivalry because that's what he has. You know, that's his thing. So maybe he's just trying to be the one true Sonic by out-Sonicking Sonic.
Literally, he's going to be the hero, bigger hero than Sonic?
Yeah, saving the weak faster and more effectively than Sonic ever could. And Sonic's just like, yeah, you totally did it. And Metal Sonic's just, grrr.
That's not the reaction I wanted.
Meanwhile, Eggman's just kind of sad because there's yet another robot that's gone rogue on him.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something in the code? Does he not properly, test this? Why does this keep happening?
That's a thing for Sage to look into, I guess. And Malia has a question. Eggman's tried many ways to harness and control the Chaos Emeralds, but may I suggest a method he's never tried? A candlelit dinner. How well does this wine and dine between the good doctor and these eldritch artifacts of infinite power go? And which of them tries getting the waiter's attention by blinking in Morse code? Or do they somehow manage to match each other's freak?
This is a boom skit.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Eggman's reading the grand tome of ancient chaos findings, and it's like, the ancient minerals respond to one's heart's desire. How do I express that? Perhaps a candlelit dinner, boss? That's stupid enough in my book. I was joking. And then it's just, him at Chez Fancy, which is just Mad Burger with, a nice sign in front. And you got a pile of Chaos Emeralds just sitting on the table in front of him.
Yes. Just sitting there.
Has anyone ever told you how multifaceted you are? I like that in inanimate objects. One of them just happens to fall off and roll across the table slightly. Oh, aren't you saucy?
Oh, no. Meanwhile, at another table, Rouge is sitting there with the Master Emerald.
Trying to convince him, he doesn't respect you. He controls you. You need to get out on your own. I can help. Worrisome. Worrisome.
Very worrisome all around. And a question from Morless. Dear Ian and Kyle, can you reenact the Muffin Man scene from Shrek as Dr. Starline and Kyle JCRB Krause? If you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a link. Well, we know what you're talking about, but
here's the thing.
Keep that link in there.
Is Starline Farquaad or is he the Muffin Man?
Yeah, I'm not You mean Gingerbread Man, not the Muffin Man.
Yeah, Gingerbread Man. I beg your pardon.
The answer seems to be yes.
Nose. Okay.
Nope. Starline is Farquaad. Okay.
Farquaad?
According to Morless, Starline is supposed to be Farquaad. I need to look up this. Is there a transcript of this? Because I don't have one. I remember vaguely. I remember some of it, but not the whole thing.
Why is this coming to me in French?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you need the French version.
Is this French? No, this is English.
Hold on. There we go. Hold on. I got it. I haven't seen Shrek in 20 years or something. What do you want from me? My memory's shot. All right. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane.
She's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
She's married to the Muffin Man.
Yes. All right. And Mixiger17 has a question. Sonic suffers a horrific nightmare where his parents amicably divorce and end up in a loving relationship with someone else. Which would be worse for Sonic? Bernie ending up with Eggman or Jules ending up with Starline? I can't stress enough, you don't have to describe it for your own mental health if you don't want to. Just pick one.
Oh, Barney and Eggman is the worst.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Starline's a scuzzbucket to be sure, but he's still like a rank below Eggman. And we're talking like, for context, this has to be Archie Sonic. That version of Robotnik has done arguably worse to Sonic on an emotional level than Eggman ever has.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
And I say this knowing full well that in SA2, Eggman locked Sonic in a canister by threatening to shoot Amy in the head, launched him into space, and tried to blow him up. That's pretty darn dark. And yet, I would still say pre-reboot Archie Robotnik was worse to his version of Sonic.
All right. Night Fury Lover 31 has a question. Amy gets sent to the Sad AM world. What did the Freedom Fighters, as many as you want, think of this cute yet surprisingly powerful girl? And what does Amy think about this Sonic and Tails? Does she help turn the tide of the war against Robotnik?
Which version of Amy?
That's what I'm wondering. Although, honestly, I think both would be... I think either one would work. Classic or...
either one.
Classic or modern. Yeah.
It would be very different. Like...
Yeah.
Classic Amy would not be as assertive. She would kind of fall in line. She would join the group, to be sure. She would want to help, but she might prefer to stick around in Knothole and help out rather than go out on missions, possibly, maybe. Would be, a little surprised by how meek Tails is. Of course, that's going to go for either version of Amy. Maybe be a little off-put with how jerky Sonic can be. Modern Amy is going to be way more assertive and proactive. She's going to be on the missions. Heck, she'll lead one if she has to.
Yeah.
And she's going to be a little impatient with this version of Sonic. She's known Sonic through the years. She's seen Sonic at some of his best and at some of his worst. And this guy kind of reminded her of the worst. You need to grow up a little bit there, short stack.
Oh!
Also, absolutely flabbergasted at this version of Tails.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Tails.
Like, all the inventions here are kind of neat, but a bit rustic. Is Tails a little behind the curve? Were built by who? Who flies the plane? Rotor! Tails, what do? You play dirt hockey? Okay.
Poor Tails. Well, maybe she helps him.
Oh, sure. After she gets over the initial culture shock, she's going to be the mentor that he needs.
Of course. And then, of course, Amy takes down the factory in a week. No doubt. It's like, she walks in. She walks into Mobotropolis like she owns the place.
She and Bunny are going to be a delight.
Yes. Smash Sisters, here we go. Let them cook. Onyxodon has a question. Dark Mobius was essentially a what-if story in timeline diversions where Knuckles took matters into his own hands and embraced Enerjack. If you were to make another what-if story revolving around a similar concept of a character making a different decision, who and what would it be? Would it be about Silver growing embittered over being trapped in the past, and Sonic belittling him and calling him a flake? Or would it be Sally finally snapping under the pressure? Go wild on this.
Well, that's the fun with the dark future tropes, is anybody and everybody can be the catalyst for things going horribly, horribly wrong. Just take the character and have them lose their way and become a corruption of everything they stood for. Boom! Instantly engaging. This is not rocket scientist. This is the peanut butter and jelly of drama.
Delicious.
Sonic deciding that, maybe he is fed up letting people off the hook and trying to live their own life. He's going to put his foot down. Amy, tired of being overlooked, she's going to make her mark on the world, one hammer stroke at a time. Mecha Sally conquers the world and enjoys it. Antoine will be making you pay for the times you sneakered at him behind his back. Bunny was a sleeper agent all along.
No! That's the worst one.
Rotor was a sleeper agent all along.
No, that sucks too.
Tails pulls a Tails 9. It's anybody, everybody. Just to have a grand old time.
Antoine takes out his hatred of margarine on the world. No, not the margarine.
Why do you look so askance, Sonic? I have made the world a better place.
I see what you did there.
Oh my God, he made an English pun and it worked!
Oh no!
You may call me Antoine Jack, or as I prefer, Antoine Jacked.
Outstanding. Outstanding. All right, question from Opal. How would Serge react to classic Sonic? Would she find him to be extremely puntable?
Extremely puntable.
Yes, this is kick the puppy time.
Drippy, drag it back. I want to see if I can beat my record.
Yes, that's pretty much it. Oh man, punt
From Earth into space, I will kick him in the face. Boot.
Yep, pretty much. And here's one from Peacock Queen. Is there a rule against another hedgehog girl besides Amy? I say this because the only hedgehog women I remember are Sonic's mothers in Archie and Underground and Sonic's sister in that same cartoon, but they were all from the American side. Could Sonic Team at some point let us see another hedgehog girl in the games or IDW comics?
Potentially. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule. I think generally they think we've reached quota on hedgehog presence, but I don't think there's like an actual stipulated, thou shalt not have hedgehog ladies. I just think it's not preferred. I think they would prefer to see more different species to vary it up, which is not a bad thing.
Nah. Panicat has a question. The Metal Virus Saga remains the biggest event in IDW Sonic, with no story yet fully topping it in terms of scale and stakes, since it was a world-ending story. So, with that in mind, do you ever regret doing the Metal Virus Saga so early on in IDW Sonic's history? One could argue that doing Metal Virus in year 2 is the equivalent of watching Avengers 2012 and then immediately jumping to Infinity War without watching any of the movies that came before it. And given that the story was originally conceived for post-reboot Archie, wouldn't you have rather waited until you had more access to things that you did while with Archie, such as even more characters plus humans? Like, I imagine that we had gotten Metal Virus in Archie. Not only would we have gotten to see human Zombots, but we'd get to see how all the established locations, plus other characters from the games who have yet to appear in IDW, would be handling this.
Short answer, no. Long answer, just because it was conceptualized early on for Archie Sonic doesn't mean there was a one-to-one correlation with IDW Sonic. The Zombots as a concept, sure. Zombie apocalypse as a general setting and direction, sure. But that's it. There aren't any like Archie Sonic scenes that were revised or re-envisioned and transplanted on IDW. The Metal Virus Saga is an original story for IDW Sonic. It just shares a little bit of DNA with an idea that never saw the light of day. And it didn't see the light of day because I was waiting to get to that and we lost the book.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of Lost Hedgehog tales about pre-reboot stuff I was waiting to get to for the proper time and the proper setup. And you know what? We didn't get it. So having done that twice in my career and now having this unprecedented third chance at doing a Sonic narrative, I thought, you know what? Instead of assuming that we're just going to have 10, 15 years of story to play with, let me just tell the story I want to tell, do it right, and see where it goes from there.
There you go.
Also, IDW Sonic is written and built on the preconceived notion that it is continuing the modern narrative. So this is coming off of Sonic Forces, a literal world war that arguably didn't have that high of an impact, but that's something else entirely. Sonic has giant epic stories all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you really enjoyed Metal Virus. I'm sorry stuff that I have written or Evan has written or Danny's written hasn't met that level for you personally. But I don't feel like the series peaked there or that it can ever not be topped. It's just, it was a big story that people were not anticipating. Plus, I was trying not to take too long with that, and it still went for a year and a half. And the idea of having more characters and more locations explored. Look, I enjoyed that series. I really did. That's too much. It did not need to be 2+ years.
Metal Virus might have gone on longer than Shattered World.
No. Metal Virus arguably went a little long, but there's a lot of factors that went into that. It did not need to be longer. It told its story, and it's done.
Yep.
And it's get a freaking action figure. What in the world?
Wild. All right, we got one last question before we take a break, and it's from Reckons. Have either of you read the Mega Man Megamix/Gigamix manga by Hitoshi Ariga? They explored the personalities of the cast in really interesting ways, particularly Wily. They're difficult to get your hands on legitimately by now, but I highly recommend them.
I have a few volumes and I started in on it back in the day, but I really didn't want to risk stealing ideas from Ariga and putting them into Archie Mega Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I was like, I really want to read this. It looks so pretty. There's a lot of neat ideas from what little I've gone through. But out of respect for them as a fellow creator, I didn't want to risk it. And now I just haven't had time to sit down and read it. But add it to the list of things to do.
Yeah, pretty much. It's still on my list, I'll tell you that. It's like, dang it. Yeah, every time I'm reminded of its existence, like, crap, I should probably, actually sit down and read that one of these days. Oh, well. We're going to take a break, but it won't be a break long enough to read the Mega Man Megamix mangas, sadly. But it'll be a quick one. Then we'll be back with more on the BumbleKast.
I got a gift from the dog from some idiots from when I did the ad read a couple weeks ago. It's a bottle, and the label says, "The Stupid Juice from episode 5. Uh-huh. It's freaking back. The Corked Up White Boys returning season 2 of JCR 1216 is some idiots. Get ready for some idiot sweep. Make sure to vote in the streamies. Get ready for a new character who isn't totally a trade-off for some of the cast not returning, and that reason definitely isn't tied to a scheduling issue. New Brandon, replacing the old Brandon. It ain't the same Brandon as the old Brandon. And that's not the only guest appearance with planned. Get ready for Michael Woodyshek, a guy Josh started a podcast with but never got anything going after 2 episodes, and prominent Sonic Twitter celebrity Frankie, the eccentric. Watch the boys accidentally get high, start a hotline because Josh is lonely, and make fun of the least creative thing in the world, artificial intelligence. See Josh go to therapy and experience a very shocking season finale as there's one more season left. And a freaking movie somehow. Also, for 1 year anniversary, instead of paying $2.99 per month, now you can pay $3 per episode. That's right. Give Josh your money. We promise it isn't going to his console collection. New music? Check. New character? Check. More of that fantastic soundtrack? Heck yeah. Go watch the trailer for season 2 now. Fictional characters that people will fight over to ship? God, I hope not. Waffle Crisp! JCR 1216 is some idiots rated TT14 for strong language, free violence, suggestive references, and portrayal of drugs. Bazangu, by fellow gamers.
We're back with a question from Scurvy Pirate Dog. After a long time, the Chaotix' landlord is revealed. The person that the Chaotix needs to pay their rent to is none other than Tangle. She needs the money to pay Jewel for all the stuff she broke in the museum. How does everyone react to this revelation? Will Whisper help Tangle collect the money?
She goes along the one time because she's curious how this actually works. And, Tangle goes knocking on the door. Hey, guys, time for the monthly rent. Victor's like, you came by for it last week. Don't you remember? Shoot. Did I do that again? And Whisper's like, did she do it again? Victor's like, no, my mistake. Actually, you didn't pick it up. And here's, a forward of the last 3 months. How do you get a forward from back pay? Shut up. Just take the money.
Oh, boy. All right. Hero Squad has a question. Segata Sanshiro Frontiers. How does it go?
Briefly.
I was going to say it lasts like 30 seconds because it has to, because it's a commercial.
Like that first encounter with Giganto, he gets punched into a mountain, but that's just so he can get a foothold so he can launch back and punch his teeth out.
Yes. Yeah, he takes him out in one shot. He doesn't need to collect the emeralds. We know that.
Like he goes straight through Giganto, flies across, and pulls Wyvern out of the sky mid-flight.
And flings him into
night.
Into night, yeah.
Night with Wyvern.
Yeah. It's pretty much it. It's over very fast. Yes.
Kicks the gun out of Supreme's hands, throws him up into the end, shoots them both. No, that's not true. Well, it's technically true. He pulls the trigger and then jumps into the barrel fast enough to be fired as the bullet himself.
Yes.
To punch through Supreme at the end.
Yes. And that's 30 seconds later.
And then you've got like the debris from all the wrecked Titans just kind of floating around what's left of the end, and it creates the Sega Saturn logo.
Perfect. Please pay respects to Segata Sanshiro. He's the hero we need, not the one we deserve, though. Or maybe he's the hero we deserve. I don't know. One of those. Soccer Cod has a question. Notting Hill, but with Knuckles and Rouge as main characters. How would that go?
See, I had to look this up because I'm not big into rom-coms.
Mm.
And maybe this summation on Wikipedia doesn't do it justice, but God, that sounded stupid. Like, no emotional logic to it whatsoever. There's got to be some context I'm missing, some nuance, something.
I don't know.
It seems like people get mad at each other for no reason, just for there to be dramatic breakup moments, and it's
a 90s rom-com. What do you want?
Coherency? I don't know.
What? No. Never.
But I don't know. Knuckles running some kind of bookshop and running into a glamorous movie star Rouge, and she's like, I'm totally into you. And he's like, you gonna buy something or get out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh no, the paparazzi think we're together since I was in your apartment. You were trying to steal the Master Emerald. Get out. I'm holding a press conference to say I'm leaving England forever because of my broken heart. Good.
Get out.
Someone with more... Here's my challenge to the fandom on this one. Someone with far more talent than I, do some kind of rap about Notting Hill, but to the Pumpkin Hill track.
Okay. All right. Have fun with that, guys. Sonic Sword Fighter has a question. Starline's Isekai adventures continue, and now he's ended up in someone's Son Egg fanfic, forced to watch as his ex-boss and his worst enemy get together. How does he react, especially since there's nothing to kill him?
Oh, come now. He's an enterprising mad scientist. He can build something. I mean, this is still Eggman. He's going to have some kind of doomsday device in a broom closet somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Starline, not allowing either of them to continue this abominable act. But no, the homosexuality, no, that's perfectly fine. It's they're intrinsically hero and villain. They shouldn't be friends, let alone lovers. No, that's the wrong thing. And he fires up the doomsday device and it blows up on him. And Eggman's like, I made sure that it wouldn't ever possibly harm my little blue.
Weird. That's weird. Guess Starline does not care for opposites attract, huh?
Unless they're magnets.
Okay.
Empowering some kind of dynamo. Perhaps on a doomsday device.
Well, does he know how magnets work?
Yes.
Wow. Amazing. Spoiler 1001 has a question. Ian, the public is dying to know, what's your stance on cannibalism?
Are they really? Really?
Okay, not the fandom, but our Discord server.
Just shaking the gates. Let me in. Tell us in.
Let you in where?
Not my house, I'll tell you that. And my stance is not advisable. Especially the brain meats. You can get prions from those, and that's a bad way to go. There's so many other tasty animals out there. I don't care if we taste like pork. Eat pork.
Probably a good idea. Yeah. All right, Steph Cube has a question. I always had trouble understanding chaos energy. Can you explain to me more or less what chaos energy is and how it works? For me, it falls into the category of science that is not yet understood, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. They have the power to work miracles. They have the power to bring our dreams into reality. They have the power to show us the true nature of our hearts, or whatever vague mumbo jumbo is trotted out there.
The energy is chaos. Chaos
They're
is the seven servers enriched by the heart.
They're weird space rocks that make things go. That's all I can do for you with any kind of definitivity. That's the most definitive answer I can give you. Without having a stroke, apparently.
It's magic, but not magic because we can't say magic. Mysticism. Couldn't say that, apparently. Superior Pizza has a question. A Hammer Bro versus an Egg Pawn, specifically the Egg Pawns from Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog. The Hammer Bro gets access to a Fire Flower, Ice Flower, and a Super Mushroom. The Egg Pawn gets the Egg Spear, Egg Gun, and Egg Bazooka. Who wins in this clash of low mid-tier goons?
The Koopas.
I mean, yeah.
Right. In most cases, they have the ranged advantage.
The Hammer Bros are like a real pain in the butt when you get to them. Egg Pawns, they tend to be very easily dispatched.
I mean, even with a bazooka, the Hammer Bros have the agility. They're going to dodge.
Mm-hmm.
The Egg Pawns are not.
Yes, it makes sense to me. All right, and we got one from the Hobgoblin. Why did you decide the reason Fang's gang should break up be because Bean was upset their group was not making enough profit and being exposed to too much danger? It seems to me that Bean was only with Fang because he wanted excitement and variety in his life and enjoyed being exposed to the danger. So it is weird that Bean would get upset that they were on a wild goose chase so long as that chase led to new experiences for him. Wouldn't it have been better if Fang finally crossed the line of doing something so terrible that Bark was the one who got upset, finally spoke up and dressed down Fang for needlessly endangering them?
That's a fine fanfic, and I welcome you to write it.
All right. Question from the Oddly Roger. Who would frustrate Dr. Starline more? Thomas Edison, who was ruthless, egocentric, and ambitious, but not as brilliant as he portrayed himself to be? Or Nikola Tesla, who supposedly invented a death ray and an earthquake machine, but never used them to bend the world to his will?
Oh, Tesla.
Yeah.
The clear genius who could have the world in the palm of his hand, and he's not doing it. You're letting Edison walk all over you? Come on, man.
No.
I'll even deploy the earthquake device into his shoe if you want. Just give me the device. No, he's not going to ally himself with old Tommy boy.
No.
You sure he's got a lot of bluster, but he doesn't have anything to back it up with.
No.
Anybody can be a raving maniac, but a true genius, the one who invents death rays and time machines in that one movie. Come on, man. Do you know what they're going to do to your legacy? Terrible cars that catch on fire and drive by themselves into walls. You have to end the world now, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Nikolai. Okay, last appeal. And then I promise I'll leave. I'm going to show you a picture of something created in your name. They call it a cyber truck. Now you're ready to use the death ray.
Yes. And here's one from Twilord. Why do you think Tails has earned death? Can't wait until we have all totally forgotten what this is a reference to.
Well, wait no longer, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean, I can't say either. I don't remember. It was this. I probably forgot like a few hours after when this originally came up, maybe. If it even came up here. Okay, well. Has Tails earned death, Ian?
No.
No
Child murder.
I'm not saying murder. He's not saying murder, he's just saying death.
Enough child death.
Okay, fine. Only Maria, no one else.
And to call for the most part, 90%.
Oh, to call still technically there. You can go say hi to her.
I guess. 75%.
Okay, fine. And also Charmy back in Metal Virus for a little bit, but he got better. It's fine.
He wasn't dead. He was just infected.
Okay, sure, that's different. Vineclad is here with our last question. Looks like Cartoon Network is going to be taken out back soon. I haven't watched Cartoon Network for a while, but I must admit that it was a big part of my childhood. Any thoughts on WB's decision to end it like Old Yeller?
Nothing I could say on a family show.
I mean, frankly, I'm really surprised that a lot of these channels still exist and they haven't just been folded over into streaming services. But that's a different thing.
I don't know. I'm not remotely well-versed in how network television is run anymore, or even what the landscape for television and streaming is these days. I'm speaking from a seat of ignorance, to be sure, but I would imagine that there is an audience for this material, and it wouldn't be be too terribly hard to put it out there for consumption, unless it's all tied up in needlessly ludicrous contracts, which it may be. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, on that depressing note, it's time to end.
Thank you to all our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members who support the show with your questions and your money. We appreciate you, every little bit. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
We appreciate you. Yes, even you, over there. You right there.
What in the world?
Mega Man, you patriotic doofus.
Then again, the animation holds up a lot better than I remembered.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Ruby Spears Mega Man doesn't look too bad for what it is.
The sound design's not bad either. This is
Nope.
satisfying. Zaps.
Yep, not too bad.
Kind of hard to do this without a transcript, though.
Is there one? Not sure. Is there one in that clip?
Show transcript.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. All right.
I was gonna say, yeah. Does the video have one? It sounds like
Yeah, it does. All right.
Sweet. Whoops.
Didn't know YouTube did that.
Yes. Yeah, that's how a lot of people listen to our show.
Okay. He's got a blast. It's not an actual accurate transcript. Haha.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
All right. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
Hey. Oh,
Wait, no. I read
no, we got it backwards. We got it backwards.
My bad.
We got it backwards. We did it wrong. All right.
It's
all
labeled
right.
and everything.
It is, yeah.
Back up
I'm
in
just
3, 2, 1.